Good morning. What a great crowd, and thanks to all of you for swimming down to the convention center today. I hope you used a stroke that you learned in your scouting experience or something to get here. I'm Ron Harr, and I'm honored to serve as the chair of the 2018 Friends of Scouting Luncheon. On behalf of the over 6,000 youth and adult volunteers, I welcome you to this 14th annual Friends of Scouting Luncheon. Please stand with me as the Venture Crew number 2531 of the Brainerd High School JROTC and the Sequoia District Color Guard present our nation's flag, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation.
Please join me in prayer. Dear Lord, we pray that you'll make us trustworthy, for there are many who trust us. We ask for loyalty, because through loyalty we reach our highest ideals. Teach us to be helpful. Through helpfulness, we forget ourselves. Father, make us friendly. There are so many who need a friend. We ask you to train us in courtesy, for courtesy is always in need. Make us kind, for no act of kindness is ever wasted. Lord, insist on our obedience, for success comes only to him who first learns to obey. Make us cheerful, for a scout is naturally full of good humor. We ask for thrift, for thrifty habits enable us to be generous to those who are in need. Make us brave, brave in darkness and in light. Help us to be clean in thoughts, speech, and deed, and may we remember that our bodies are holy temples. Above all, Father, make us reverent, not only toward you, but also toward all things you have. May we know it was you who made the waters flow, the trees reach heavenward, and the mountains endure through all the ages. Lord, we ask for your guidance in these things, and may we never forget the promise to which all scouts are pledged. Amen.
I want to say thank you to Joel Hunt for leading the invocation, and to Christian Thomas for leading the pledge, and David Gonzalez for leading us in the Scout Oath. Thank you all. Isn't this a great picture of what we're here for today? So please now enjoy your lunch and fellowship, and we'll begin our program shortly. So if you look inside your program on the table, you'll see a complete list of all those serving as table hosts for this year. You probably know the one you're sitting with. That's a given. But I thought you might like to see the entire list. These people are responsible for gathering all of you here today. And we're grateful for their time and efforts that make this event such a great success over these past 14 years. So at this point, I'd like to ask all of the table hosts to stand and let us thank you for your work. Thank you. I saw some of them did sort of a half stand. I think they want to keep eating, and who could blame them? Next, I want to give a big thank you to J.V. Vaughn, who's the East Tennessee Regional President of SunTrust Bank, and he's serving as the chair for the 2018 Friends of Scouting campaign. J.V., I think you're right down here in front. Thank you so much. The Cherokee Area Council is a partner agency with all three United Ways in our area. Please stand if you are here from the United Way of Greater Chattanooga. I know, I saw Leslie right here. Thank you so much. And also, the United Way of the Ocoee region. Anybody here representing them today? And the United Way of Ray County. Very important supporters of scouting in this region. We also want to express thanks to our foundation partners who help us bring scouting to the community. So would all the foundation partners please stand? I know you know who you are. Yes, thank you. We have a number of elected officials with us here today, and I learned a long time ago, don't start reading them off because you'll leave somebody out and I'll get myself in trouble. But all of our elected officials who serve this community so well, please stand and let us recognize you. And finally, I'd like to recognize the president of the Cherokee Area Council, Boy Scouts of America, Dr. Jim Barrett, and the Scout executive for this area, Scott Fozzie. Would you please stand? I know everybody here knows what an important part of this community scouting is. And it seems like every day that I talk to somebody who's been touched by scouting that I would never have thought of. And you may not even be aware in your community of friends of people that started their lives as a scout. And one of the most important things, I learned this when I was working on HR in my life before I retired. When I got a resume from somebody who was applying for a job and I saw down there at the bottom it said Eagle Scout, I always moved that to the top of the list if they were qualified for the job because it's such an important thing. And at this time, I'd like for all the Eagle Scouts who are here today to please stand and remain standing for just a few minutes while we talk about Eagle Scouting. What a great showing. So this is an important part of scouting, and I know it's been an important part of your life. I'd ask you to remain standing for just a minute. Attaining the rank of Eagle Scout requires years of dedication. These men, many of them are our community leaders, as you can see. And scouting is a part of who they are and the positive influence that they've had in this area on families, businesses, and in fact, the entire community. So congratulations, and thank you so much for being here today. Now, you Eagle Scouts, I'm going to give you a little exercise. You're going to get to stand back up because I want everybody in the audience who's been touched by scouting as a scout, volunteer, or supporter. At this time, please stand. This is part of our health and fitness for the day. I hope your device is measuring the up and down, but look at this, the tremendous amount of support we have in this community. Thank you to everyone. And now for the main event. I know it kind of hurts my feelings a little bit. I know you really didn't come to see me. But we have a great speaker for you today, and it's now my great pleasure to introduce to you Terry L. Fossum. He's been active in scouting more on than off over the past 45 years. As an adult, he's given back to scouting by serving in numerous positions on the unit, district, and council level. He's formerly the Scoutmaster for Troop 400 in Spokane Valley, Washington, and now the Vice President for Program for the entire Island Northwest Council. He's an Eagle Scout and a Vigil Honor member in the Order of the Arrow, where he's been named Airman of the Year for 2 different lodges. He's received the Distinguished Scouting Service Award, District Award of Merit, and the Silver Beaver. As an officer in the United States Air Force, his military honors include Officer of the Year for the Fairchild Air Force Base, Distinguished Graduate from Squadron Officer School, and the Humanitarian of the Year for all of the Strategic Air Command. His business career led him to develop sales teams around the globe, where he became a multi-million-dollar earner. He has authored 4 highly acclaimed books in the self-improvement realm and performs business training and keynote speaking across the U.S. and in other places in the world. His hobbies include martial arts, where he's a black belt, and adventure in places like the Arctic Circle, Africa, South America, and others. His philanthropic projects literally span the globe. His latest book, Summer Camp to Survival Show Winner, tells the story of how scouting affected Terry's life every step of the way and is available here today. Most recently, he's represented all of the Boy Scouts of America winning Kicking and Screaming, a survival reality show pitting 10 survival experts against each other in a jungle while teamed up with a complete novice. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm Chattanooga welcome to Terry Fossum.
Thank you much. Appreciate it. Well, howdy. Well, howdy. There we go. I didn't think it took a rainstorm to dampen the spirits in Chattanooga. That's what I'm talking about. You know, I was told before I got here that I was going to love the people here, and just for the little bit of time here, it is absolutely true. You guys are fantastic. Give yourselves a hand just for being here. See, you don't realize it, but you have had a profound impact on my life. No, I mean it. You and people like you changed the course of my life forever. Now, I know we're calling this the Friends of Scouting Luncheon, but if you ask me, and I mean this is the Hall of Heroes. Now, being prior military, I don't use the word hero lightly at all. But in this case, it's absolutely true. Because let me ask you, what is a hero? A hero is somebody that sacrifices of themselves for the good of others. Is that right? And it's okay to talk. It's all right. It gets lonely up here. Yeah, a hero is somebody that sacrifices of themselves for the good of others. And that's exactly why you guys are here. You're making a difference in the world just by being here today. So what I'd like to do today is I'd like to tell just a couple of scouting stories. That's all, just a couple of scouting stories. No big deal. And I realize that they're one of only millions of scouting stories going on around the world today. Millions of them right now. But it's the one I know the best because it's my story. Would that be all right? Yes. Excellent. Thanks for that reply. I appreciate it. Excellent. Well, to tell my story, we're going to have to go way back. In fact, we're going to have to go way back. This is a picture of me in my daddy's arms. And this is a picture of me and my 2 brothers. Now, you might be wondering which one I am. You see the taller, better looking, more distinguished looking one? Yeah, that ain't me. You see the little one that looks like he's just about to get in a whole lot of trouble? That would be me. And we grew up in a place called McAllen, Texas. Now, who's heard of McAllen, Texas? Help me out. Wow. Right on. A few of y'all have. Fantastic. Well, believe it or not, you've all heard of McAllen, Texas. Have you heard of the place where the cartels are coming across the border and kidnapping people, doing terrible things? Home. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my hometown. I really do. The people there are fantastic. They are. The weather's great year-round. The food all match anywhere in the world. But it can be a little rough growing up there at times with all the gangs and all the drugs there. In fact, I love this picture here of McAllen. You take a look at the dot there. Where does it look like that dot is? In Mexico, right? And it's pretty much true. It's about 15 minutes from my driveway into Reynosa, Mexico. And I was pretty proud, though, because, listen, my house was on the front page of the newspaper just the other day. Would you like to see it? Yeah? All right. Thank you. There's the Scouters. All right, here we go. There's a picture. I mean, you can't really see my house because of the crime scene investigation unit right in front of it. That's my neighborhood. But you can see the house next door. See, the house next door was the drug house. And right at that point, apparently the drug people inside the house or the drug people outside the house money. There's an armed standoff, cordon off the old neighborhood. I'm getting a little homesick just thinking about it. But I'll never forget, I was 14 years old. 14 years old. Now think about what that age means. And I'm in my backyard one night, and I hear a noise in my back alley. Now, if you're from my neighborhood and you hear a noise in the back alley, you check it out, say, you know what I mean? So I jump over my back fence with all the bluster of a 14-year-old boy. Bum-ticka-dum. Now, you need to understand, that's a bad idea. It's a bad idea to be in my back alley at that time of night. Maybe you know back alleys like that. But it got worse. It got worse when all of a sudden, boom, these headlights hit me. Now, headlights, of course, means a car. A car probably means an adult. An adult in my back alley at that time of night means there's a drug deal going on, or there's a robbery, or there's something much worse. None of which they want a 14-year-old witness to. And there I am, completely exposed. Well, it got worse. It got a lot worse. When the guy walked out in front of those lights with the assault rifle and aimed it right at me. See, that's where I come from, guys. That's my background. That's when I was in junior high. When I was in high school, my father was killed. Just like that. He's gone. Before he died, one of the neighbors came up to him and said, I just want to make sure you understand something. Not a single one of your boys will ever grow up to be anything. See, that's where I come from. That's my background. I'm not supposed to be here, y'all. I'm not supposed to be in front of you fine people in Chattanooga. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be in a gang. I'm supposed to be on drugs. I'm supposed to be dead. But we knew something he didn't know. We had something that he didn't have. See, we had you. We had people that gave a flip about a kid like me. We had people that cared. We had heroes. We had people who were willing to sacrifice of themselves for some kid they didn't even know existed. We had scouting. We had scouting because of you and people like you. And I'll never forget being a Cub Scout. It was amazing. I still remember putting on that uniform. I really do. I still remember how proud I was. And they had something called the dinner. So we had this little cord they gave us because we were the leader of the den. Now, you know what? It probably meant nothing to them at all. Nothing at all. But it meant the world to me. Because for the first time ever, somebody was telling me that I'm a leader. That I didn't have to listen to what the kids on my street in my neighborhood were saying, because I can tell you they are recruiting for gangs at that age right now. But you told me I was a leader. And you gave me a whole new set of ethics that I could cling on to that I was learning in my neighborhood. And then I got into Boy Scouting. And Boy Scouting was the coolest thing ever, man. Because we went on adventures. We had a blast. We had fun. And you introduced me to something called the Scout Oath and the Scout Law. And you heard these kids up here and a lot of the audience saying it tonight. And it still gives me chills when I see a boy saying the Scout Oath and Law, because I know the difference it made in my life when you gave me a code of ethics to follow. And I went to something called Philmont Scout Ranch. Now, Philmont Scout Ranch is this high adventure base in the mountains of New Mexico. And it was crazy. We hiked over 200 miles. We did over 50 miles in one day. Full packs in the mountains, 50 miles in one day. And I can tell you, I was completely exhausted. I was done. I didn't have an ounce of strength in me. There's no way I could finish this hike. But you told me I could. You told me that I had more strength in me than I thought I had in myself. You taught me that the impossible is impossible only if I believe it is. You taught me that I could carry on. And I can tell you that for the rest of my life, that secret has been in my heart since you taught it to me. And I can't tell you the obstacles it has helped me over, just like so many other kids out there. So from Philmont, I got to go on to summer camp staff. Summer camp was amazing because I wasn't just in scouting for an hour or for a weekend. I got to be fully immersed in scouting for an entire week. And it was crazy. It was so cool because out there I could act like an idiot. I could sing stupid songs and do stupid skits, and it was okay. And you say, well, why is that important? Because out there at summer camp, I didn't have to act cool. I didn't have to act tough. I didn't have to act bad. And see, my major male role model was dead. But you gave me a whole slew of other major male role models. A whole bunch of older guys that I thought were really cool. And see, they taught me that not only was it okay to be trustworthy and loyal and helpful and all those things, but it was expected of me. That's the way to live. And then I got my Eagle Scout. And when I got my Eagle Scout, you taught me, though, that I was now to use my training as an example. You taught me that I was now a marked man. You gave me an oath and a charge. And you told me that starting at that moment, I was to live the rest of my life representing Eagle Scouts everywhere. Now listen, in my hometown, there's a lot of people on drugs. You know that. Maybe you can relate to that. I never touched a joint. I never touched a single joint. Now, why is that important, and why did I do it? I did it because I had other scouts that looked up to me, and you taught me I had to. And now in Washington State, it's legal. But I can still tell the kids just because it's legal doesn't make it right. And I never touched it, and you never have to either. And you gave me that story to be able to pass on. Now, I got my citizenship and community merit badge. And I joined something called the Corps of Cadets at Texas A&M University. And I did just what scouts do. That's all I did. I got in there, I rolled up my sleeves, and I got to work. And I started doing things that had never been done before in the Corps of Cadets. They actually made a command level position just for me. They changed history in the Corps of Cadets for me. And USA Today was doing an article on leadership. And they called me and asked, where did you learn this leadership that you've been applying to the Corps of Cadets? Where did you learn this kind of thing? And my answer was immediate and without hesitation. What was it? Help me out. Boy Scouting. There's no doubt about it. And I got my citizenship in the nation merit badge. And I got my citizenship in the world merit badge. So I joined the United States Air Force. I became the executive officer for an entire group of nuclear B-52 aircraft. Is that insane? I think it is. And I was there in battle staff one day. Now, what is battle staff? You've heard of battle staff, like the war room that you see in the movies and everything. Big room, big table there, classified boards all around. That really does exist. We call it the battle staff. I had a position in the battle staff. And I'm sitting there one day, and I'm looking around, and I'm going, I can't believe that I'm here. And I thought back to that dark alley. And I thought back to that assault rifle. And I promise you, I thanked God for you and people like you right at that moment. Because if it wasn't for you, and if it wasn't for your sacrifice, my story would have been a lot different. Now, you heard that I set up sales teams around the globe. I became a multi-million-dollar earner. But the Order of the Arrow and you taught me it's not about me. It's not about lavishing luxuries upon myself. It's about making a difference in the world. It's about helping other people. So when I heard of Malawi, Africa, the poorest country in all of Africa, and that's saying something, right? There was a child dying every 6 seconds of malnourishment. Every 6 seconds. You consider how long we've been sitting here having our lunch. So we built a school for agricultural independence over there. We bring in families from the different outlying tribes. We keep them from an entire growing season, teach them how to farm, and then their job was to go back to their villages and to teach the others how to farm. And we'd follow up with them. And as of several years ago, listen, there hasn't been a single death due to malnourishment in the entire country. Because when you donate to scouting, it doesn't just stay here in Chattanooga, because those values you're teaching your kids here go across the country and around the world. And I heard about a genocide in Rwanda, Africa. Over 1 million people slaughtered in just about a week. Over 1 million people slaughtered. These eyes have seen things that they shouldn't see, and I've looked in those eyes. Now, the problem with this is that leaves a whole lot of orphans and a whole lot of widows that don't have a way to make money. And I will tell you, in Rwanda, if you don't make money, you die, so they will figure out a way. It's not always the best way. So we built a school just to teach basic skills. Skills like carpentry, like sewing. Just basic skills that would allow them to make a living and build a life. The good you're doing right here in Chattanooga, the good you're doing this morning, is going to go around the globe. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And then in my hometown of McAllen, Texas now, we have scholarships for underprivileged youth because you taught me when we go into a campsite, we make it better before we leave. All I've done is what you've taught me to do. That's all I've done. But that's what these kids are doing as well. And you're giving them the opportunity to do it. Now, these are my boys. These are my sons. This is the next generation of Eagles. Because the cool part about scouting, too, is it's not just our generation. The good that you're teaching them gets transferred from generation to generation to generation. So these boys here turned 18 and got their Eagle, pretty much in that order. Why do they do that to us? But see, I had retired when I married into this family about 8 years ago. I had retired. So they're 18, they're moving on. So I'm praying to God, okay, God, what do you want me to do next? Whatever it is, I'll do it. You lead, I'll follow. Be careful what you ask for. Because one day I went down to check my email. Pretty innocuous, right? We check our email, and I get an email there that says, hey, this is Metal Flowers Media Casting Company. We're casting a brand new television primetime reality show on Fox, pitting 10 of the top survival experts in the country against each other while bringing along a complete novice. And we think you'd be great. Now, you get an email like that, what do you think? Help me out. It's fake, right? Yeah, it's fake. I'm waiting for it, and send $8,000 to Nigeria, right? But it ended up being true. I called it, it was true, and the next thing I know, by the grace of God, I find myself in the middle of a jungle somewhere with cameras all around me. So what I'd like to do right now is I'd like to tell some scouting stories that they didn't show on TV. Would that be all right? All right, right on, thank you. A little behind the scenes stuff. Okay, first of all, y'all met my partner, Natalie. Oh, you laugh now. Pink and blue hair, fully tattooed up, tongue ring, atheist, foul mouth, online video gamer. Okay? But let's be fair here. She comes driving up on the boat, y'all saw that, they're driving up, and you see this line of young stud military types, right? And the fat old scoutmaster, hi! See, the network did their best to put opposites with each other, right? That's good TV, that's drama right there, you betcha. But what they didn't understand is we're scouters. This is what we do. We take people who aren't used to being in the outdoors and we make them comfortable. We don't care what their background is. We take people from all race, color, creed, socioeconomic. We don't care. We don't care about their past. We care about their future. And we make that difference. This was no big deal to me. God's honest truth. I just did what y'all would do. Welcome in. I'm going to look for your strengths. And what her strengths were, she was strong, and she was loyal, and she was smart. Now, that being said, we fought. Go figure, right? Did y'all see that on the video? You didn't see a fraction of it because we fought all day long, okay? Now, we're starving, we're sleep deprived, we're going at it. And I went, wait a minute, right in the middle fight. Like, I know how to do this better. I've been to Boy Scout adult leader training. I've been to Wood Badge. I understand managing conflict, right? So I told her, okay, Natalie, wait, let's separate for a little bit here. Let's separate. And we came back together and said, Natalie, I got great news for you. What? We're storming. And she goes, yeah, I got that. No. There's 4 stages of team development: forming, storming, norming, and performing. And we're right smack dab in number 2. She still didn't get us. No. We want to win this thing, right? We want to win, right? We want to get to the performing stage. Well, of course we do. Well, listen. Look at it as stepping stones, not obstacles. We need to go through storming. It's a stepping stone to success, as long as we do it with love and with respect. After that, we became the most winning team on the entire show. And I promise you, I couldn't have done it without Wood Badge. There's zero doubt about it. Now, people ask me a lot about the grub. Y'all saw that? Yeah, see, that wasn't just a grub, okay? I've eaten grubs down in the Amazon. That's no big deal. They actually are kind of tasty, to tell you the truth. But no, this was a grub. This was cigar size, slimy, squirming around, squirt out of your mouth when you chomp on it, grub. Y'all enjoy your dessert. And people ask me all the time, oh my gosh, how could you eat that thing? I tell them, it was easy. I eat Boy Scout cooking. Is it just, my boys in Spokane can make a pancake that is charbroiled black on the outside and still raw on the inside. Is that just there? No, that part was easy. But now we had different challenges that we'd go through while we were out there. To tell about the next challenge, I need to introduce you to my buddy Ben. Hey, don't judge. We've been out there a while, okay? But we get out to the jungle, day one, and it was amazing to me, the effect that a scoutmaster in uniform has on people. It was amazing because they all started talking about, hey, we don't want to be like those other reality shows where people are stabbing each other in the back and group voting and talking bad about each other and all that. It's amazing. But I walked up to a group of them and went, hey, you know what? You already are. They go, wait, what? Yeah, you're already doing it. See, you're a group of young former combat vets. You've already formed a clique. Push comes to shove, you're going to do it. Now, right at that point, that guy walks up behind me and goes, I got your back, and keeps walking. I got your back. I don't even know this guy. I've got your back. But for the rest of the show, Ben had my back. When it came time to build shelters, he comes up to me and goes, hey, man, you want to build a shelter together? I'm like, let's see. You're a United States Air Force survival instructor. I'm going to go yes on this one. And for the rest of the show, Ben and I had each other's back. When it came to getting food, helping each other, the challenges, whatever it would be, we had each other's back. Now, let me ask you this. Where would somebody learn to be that loyal? Ben was a scout. In fact, he was a senior patrol leader. And then the next challenge was cruel, man, because we were starving. I lost 25 pounds on this show, okay? And we go into the area, and there's this whole table full of food. I'm like, I know there's a catch. Yeah, there was. We could taste it, but we couldn't eat it. And here's how. Okay, big table full of food, cargo net, scales over here. On this side of the cargo net was our novices. Their job was to pick up the food, pass it through the cargo net to us. We put it in scale. No big deal, right? Unless your hands are tied behind your back. Now, we're cranking it because we identified corn on the cob right away. That's the way to go. Easy to pick up, weighs a lot, easy to drop. We're good to go. And we're in first place, and we're cranking it, man. We're in far first place on this challenge, big time. And the worst happens. Did y'all see that trip, that face plant? Oh, my, it hurts every time I see that footage. It really does. Because I didn't just stumble. It was sailed through the air, bam, face right on a tree root. It almost knocked me completely out. It really did. So I didn't know my name, much less how to get up. Now, I was in first place. We're down for the count. Second place. Yeah, this is second place. Let me introduce you to my buddy Jason. Jason is now in second place. He's cheering, right? He's going to go on and take the win. Jason did the unimaginable. Jason stopped his competition and helped me get up. They didn't show that on TV. I don't get it. He helped me get up. That's insane. Jason's going for $500,000 too. Let me ask you, what kind of a person would be that loyal? Jason was a scout. If you wonder, does what we're teaching these kids really apply to their adult life? You know what? It comes out in the best times. It comes out in the worst times, and that's the most important ones of all. And then it came down to the last day in the jungle. The final day. It's down to the last two pairs. Natalie and I, and Brady and Claire. And production told us that part of it is going to be making fire. The novices making fire. That's going to be part of the finale. So we're working with our novices on making fire. You know, no big deal. Now, Brady is much better at me in many things, but I'm better at him at making fire. You know why? Because I am a Boy Scout. We are pyromaniacs. We like to burn things. So I'm helping Claire. It's no big deal. You know, she needs to know how I'm helping her do it. Now, production's freaking out. They don't get it. They don't understand what's going on. They're like, are you out of your mind? So what do you mean? Wait, millions of dollars have gone into the production of this show. Years of planning have gone into this. We've been fully immersed in the jungle for over 30 days. It comes down to today. This is it for $500,000. And you're representing Boy Scouts of America, and you're helping your competition? So that's exactly what I'm doing, and that's exactly why, because I am representing Boy Scouts of America. And in Boy Scouts of America, I took an oath, and that oath started with on my honor, and there's nothing more important in the world than honor. And it went on to say to help other people at all times, not just when it's convenient for me. I'm doing exactly what you taught me to do and what we're teaching the kids of today to do. Now, I love this picture. I love this picture of the finale because to me this epitomizes Boy Scouts. This epitomizes what we do. Because what we do is we elevate other people. We don't care what their background is or where they've come from. We elevate them. We elevate their ethics. We elevate their belief in themselves, their belief in other people. You're doing this every single day just by being here and giving of your time and giving of your money. Now, I'd like to tell just one last scouting story. Y'all still have energy left for me? Yeah, right on. I appreciate that. Then I'd like to tell you about this guy. Now, this is my brother. You remember that taller, better-looking one? You remember that? That's Mike. That's Mike now. Now, before I tell you the story, though, I should tell you not every story has a happy ending. Okay? Not every story has a happy ending, but we can learn from it. Are we okay with that? Okay, cool. See, Mike decided he wanted to be an astronaut. See, y'all remember the neighborhood I come from? Yeah, we don't have astronauts from my neighborhood, all right? We don't have, that doesn't happen. But he decided to go for it. Well, yeah, him and several thousand other people, right? But he went for it. And guess what happened? Any guesses? No, he wasn't even close. Sorry, but thanks for playing along. No, not every story has a happy ending, but we can learn from it. So now Mike understands he's not going to be an astronaut. Try door number 2, right? He understands that, right? No, he didn't understand that. So he decided to go for it again. And guess what happened this time? No, I don't think so. No. So now that's 4 years of failing. Because you need to understand, going for it does not mean just fill out a postcard. Dear NASA, I'd like to be an astronaut. Thank you. No, it's 2-year process of getting yet another advanced degree, of going through the psychological exams, the mental exams, the physical, all of that kind of stuff. Blood, sweat, and tears for 2 years to get slammed down. He's gotten slammed down for 4 years now. So now Mike understands he's not going to be an astronaut, right? No, he doesn't. He's the stubborn brother. But see, he was a Boy Scout also. He went to Philmont also. So he tried it again. And again. And again. Wow. I said not every story has a happy ending, so, but we can still learn from it. 10 years of getting slammed down. 10 years of failing. We went through this with him. I can tell you, he was completely heartbroken every time. Completely. He would jokingly say, I don't know if he was joking, I'm not going near anything high because he's afraid of what he'd do. I mean, you can imagine how bad it felt. So now Mike understands he's not going to be an astronaut, right? Now he tried for it again. And this time, NASA chose 6. He was number 7. Wow. It got worse. His buddy across the street made it, and he didn't. But it got worse. It got worse when his boss called him in and said, Mike, and this is at NASA, he was actually working there at the time as an engineer. Mike, you understand you're not going to be an astronaut, right? You get this now, right? Okay, 12 years we've been trying to tell you you're not up to par. That's why all these other people have been getting it and you're not. You got it now, right? Wow. But it got worse. You've passed the window. You're too old. Done. Stephanie, that's it. No longer possible. No longer improbable, it's now impossible. They don't select astronauts at your age. Wow. But it got worse. It got worse when he said, now, Mike, you need to understand something we've been trying to tell you for too long now. We've been trying to tell you, work your career for your career, not this pipe dream. You haven't listened. Now you're at a break point. Start working your career for your career, or you're going to lose it. Mike was completely devastated. He was completely, devastated. Unbelievable. Noises came out. See, and Mike doesn't get it sometimes. When I found out he was going for it again, even though we know it's impossible, it can't happen, it's impossible. I called him up and said, Mike, I want to make sure you understand something. I don't care. I don't care if you make it. I don't care. Because there's no way in the world I could be more proud of you than I am right now. And when he got the phone call, he knew what the answer was right away from the tone of voice. When the guy said, Mike, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 14 years, guys, of putting everything he had into this one singular dream. 14 years of trying to come crashing down in 2 words, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. When he was in grade school, he got a book on space, and he wrote in that book, someday I will touch the stars. Done. I'm sorry. And what the guy said next literally dropped Mike down to his knees. When the guy said, Mike, I'm sorry. We tried to tell you, you no longer work here. You're gone. Because you've been selected to be a United States astronaut. Is that cool? We've got footage from Mike's first flight into space. Would y'all like to see it? You got it. The boy from my neighborhood, from my house, never going to grow up to be anything, is now on the launch pad. July 4th,
12,
Independence Day, 2006.
10,
Return to flight
9,
mission.
8, 7, 6. Go for main engine start. Main engine start. 2, 1. Booster ignition and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery, returning to the space station, paving the way for future missions beyond.
So why do I call y'all heroes? Because to me, you are. There's zero question about it. Because you're making kids' dreams come true that you don't even know exist by the actions you're taking today and every day. See, that wasn't Mike's only flight into space. He actually went up twice on a shuttle and once on a Soyuz. The last time he went up for 6 months to be the commander of the International Space Station. Is that awesome? Mike is now number 12 in U.S. history for number of hours walking in space. Now, while he was up there, he took some footage, some scouting footage. Would y'all like to see that?
Yes.
All right, you got it. Here we go. Astronaut Mike Fossum in space.
Greetings. My name is Mike Fossum. I'm an Eagle Scout, a Scoutmaster, and an astronaut. Special greetings from the International Space Station. This is a greet the scouts, the scouters, and the staff out there. I really like going out there and having a lot of fun with my friends in the troop and other troops from the area, and adventures. Adventures around the corner, adventures out in the woods, adventures along the waterline, and really just enjoying everything it had to offer. One of my favorite merit badges that I took one summer as a scout was the astronomy merit badge. I loved looking up at the stars on campouts and stuff. Now was my chance to really begin to learn more about them. It really piqued my interest in huge ways. I spent a lot of nights out there under the stars sharing my love for the stars and astronomy. Somewhere along the line, it kind of woke up a dream that was in the back of my mind. I didn't want to just study and learn about those stars. I wanted to reach out and touch them. You never can tell where your adventure might lead, how it might make a difference in your life. Don't worry about that too much, though, because really, it's about fun, friends, and adventure. I'll see you on down the trail. Mike Fossum signing out from the International Space Station.
Wait for the float away. Yeah. It still gives me chills. God's honest truth, it still does. Y'all remember that guy that said we'd never grow up to be anything? Y'all remember him? Yeah, we do too. We do too. He still lives in McAllen, Texas. We know exactly who he is. And he probably has to bite his tongue about every day when he's watching TV or listening to the radio and sees something about Michael E. Fossum Middle School in McAllen, Texas. Is that awesome? Well, that's it, guys. That's our scouting story. Now, again, I know it's only one of millions and millions of scouting stories out there happening every single day. But it's the one I know best because it's my story. Now, these are the kids of today. These are the kids out there, and you look at their faces, and what do their futures look like? Is one of them going to be a gang leader or a police officer or a business leader or head of United Way? I don't know. I don't know what their future brings. But there's one thing I do know, that their odds are much better because they have heroes like you. And if there's one thought I want to leave you with as we finish up for today, you know, you guys saw the video of John making fun of me on that show. What he didn't understand is I'm used to it. I grew up with it. Happened to me all the time. But I had you guys backing me up. You had my back the whole time. And if there's one thing I learned throughout life that was really emphasized on the show, never, ever underestimate the power of a scout. Thank you all very much. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Okay.
Harry, thank you so much for those inspiring stories. You can't call that a story. How many were there? But what a perfect message for what we're here to do today. So we want to give you this gift as a token of our appreciation for your coming all the way from Washington.
Oh, excited to.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
One of the other great things about the way this is organized is that nobody here is going to be surprised now that we're going to ask you for your support. Don't you hate those surprises when you go to something all of a sudden? Well, Terry's story about how scouting impacted his life and the other things that you all have talked about at your tables today are a perfect way for us to end this program. And we want to thank our friends here at WTCI. Their table is right over here. They have helped us today by putting together a video that's the next portion of the program, the ending portion of the program. And during that video, you're going to see people, some of whom you'll recognize in this community, who are involved in scouting. So thank you to WTCI for doing that. And during the video, your table host is going to be passing out the pledge cards. Maybe some of you have already gotten them from your table host. But we want you to take that card and think about what you've heard today. If you work for a company that has a matching gift program, please be sure to put on the card that that's the case, and we can double that impact. And on the bottom of your card, you'll see a suggested giving amount. And the most important message I have for you today is I'd like for you to think about that as a minimum. If you want to do more than that, of course, we'd love for you to do that. But I hope that you'll dig deep and think about the impact that your financial support can have to this really important program in our community. It impacts a lot of lives. It has for many years. And my belief is that there's been no time in our history then we need more of what scouting has to offer. So, if I would, let's get the table hosts to get your cards together, and we'll start the WTCI video.
Scouting is one of the best ways to help our young men grow into manhood. It helps prepare them to be leaders. It helps them develop skill sets that they wouldn't normally have.
The well-rounded nature of scouting finds things that young men love, that they can excel at, but also teaches them the things that maybe they don't love, but they absolutely need to know to be good and mature and accomplished adults.
You learn without realizing it. You go out to have fun, do fun things, and the skills that you learn while you're having fun are what stick with you and impact your life.
I think that kids that are being exposed, they know more, they understand more, and they have better opportunities because it kind of kickstarts their idea of where I want to be and what I want to do.
The face-to-face, hands-on experience of scouting is vital. And so many kids would not get that if they were not kind of crowbarred off the couch and gotten out there. And I mean, just respect for yourself and others and put something above yourself.
Everything that they do, from the oath, the law, the slogan, the motto, and all the practices of Boy Scouts are to help these young men become ethical and moral and stand up for what's right.
To be loyal, to be trustworthy, to be brave, have that confidence. You can go down the entire list. There's still an organization out there that believes in proper morals, that believes in, standing behind a child, standing behind someone, encouraging them.
Going through that Scout oath, when you sit down with a young person and you say, look at each and every one of these components, and then you can actually apply it to their life in school, in church, in their community, giving back. But the way that they act and the way that they interact with people.
When I joined Scouting, I think I was really, really rowdy, rambunctious. Now, as I outgrew that because of Scouting. It taught me respect, and just leadership is a big part of it.
I'm a single mom, and I have 2 boys. This program helps me as that parent to raise these boys, to put into them honesty and loyalty, to be all of the things that the Scout Oath and Scout Law challenge them to be. They're learning how to stand up for what's right, to be there for others when it's needed, and to say, hey, we've got this, we can do this, follow me. I can take you where we need to go because I've learned it through Scouts.
Let's give WTCI a round of applause for producing that. We've thanked a lot of people this evening: United Way, table hosts, donors, Eagle Scouts, of course Terry. But one person we haven't thanked is our Master of Ceremonies. I'd like Ron to come up. Ron, on behalf of the Cherokee Area Council, thank you for being our Master of Ceremonies. And for those of you who don't know Ron, he is a captain, and every good captain needs a good Boy Scout knife, and this is a Boy Scout knife that you will hopefully not use in an emergency. But thank you again, Ron.
Thank you.
And in closing, open your Thursday Chattanooga Times Free Press. We will have the grand totals of what we raised this evening. And also, Terry, as he said earlier, does have some books if you would like to buy a book from Terry for a mere $1 he's selling them for. So it's a great deal. Tell Terry I said that. But again, closing, thank you so much for being here. We've enjoyed it, and you all do make a difference for the Scouts of the Cherokee Area Council. Give yourselves a hand, and thank you very much.